Welcome back. So 2 years ago, I did redrafts and I restricted myself. And I'm still, you know what? I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I restricted myself and said, all right, I'm going to redraft the 30 players that were drafted in the first round. And so you end up with Zach Senyshyn going at 30 to the Coyotes. So what I've done this time is I've said, you know what? I'm going to open it up and just redraft from the entire draft class. So that does change things. It's definitely going to change things, and it's probably going to change them a lot. So at number one, it is Connor McDavid. It has to be Connor McDavid. The one thing that will not change, no matter how many times I might do a redraft of 2015, it's going to be Connor McDavid. It has to be Connor McDavid. He's the best player in the draft class. But this is where things get tricky because this is a absolutely stacked draft class. I think we'll look back on 2015 as being in a similar level to 2003. I really do. So at number two, two is where it gets difficult. See, last time out it was Eichel. I was like, okay, it's obviously Eichel. 2 years have passed, things have changed. Originally drafted 135th overall, Kirill Kaprizov. I have him going second overall to the Buffalo Sabres. His game's absolutely fantastic. Kaprizov, I'm going to have him go at second. At third, there's going to be a change here too. Mikko Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen was originally drafted 10th overall. I would have him go third. Absolutely, I would have him go third. Rantanen has won a Stanley Cup ring now. He ends up having, 20 assists during that run. So, absolutely fantastic run by Rantanen and the Colorado Avalanche. And he's one of the best wingers in the league. And yeah, for me, Rantanen ends up going third. Fourth overall. And fourth overall is difficult too. See, and this is where I'm thinking to myself, Eichel should go here, right? But then the question becomes, but with Marner, I don't think there's much question Marner plays better than Eichel over the last 12 months. People may say, well, with Eichel, he's still coming off of that surgery, which maybe it's going to take him a little longer to get back to the top of his game. But I have to look at the work that they've done and their overall record. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, Mitch Marner still goes to Toronto, so that doesn't change. I'm pretty sure Mitch Marner goes to Toronto in the other redraft I did as well. So yeah, he stays at 4, and as he told Shane Wright, nothing wrong with being drafted at 4. At 5 to Carolina. This will make Carolina fans happy. Now you draft Sebastian Aho 5th overall instead of 35th. Aho has been absolutely fantastic for Carolina. I do think that if he played on a team that encouraged a little more offense, we'd see more points from him. But Aho's all-around game has been absolutely fantastic. Now we're down to New Jersey. New Jersey, it is hard to argue against a guy who had, 47 goals this past season? So yeah, Kyle Connor. Connor, who was originally drafted 17th, I remember his first year where he got called up by Winnipeg and thinking, I don't know if this guy's gonna make it. And then, yeah, he turned out to be pretty darn good. So yeah, Kyle Connor. It's one of the reasons why now with rookies, I do not have an opinion one way or the other. I say, you know what, we're gonna see how this goes, because there have been too many cases over 40 years where that snap judgment immediately when somebody comes up. I used to be guilty of that too. I'm not anymore. So Kyle Connor goes to New Jersey. Might make New Jersey happy. They originally drafted Zacha. So to Philadelphia, I can't justify dropping Eichel further than that. Jack Eichel can still be an absolutely fantastic forward. He is still capable of being a guy who takes over a game. And at points in time with the Vegas Golden Knights this year, that Jack Eichel showed up. There were points where it looked like he was getting back into the swing of things. I don't think he was 100% comfortable this past year. I would think this coming season, his numbers should improve, which may very well end up putting Vegas back on the right side of the playoff side of things. In the next spot, to Columbus. 8th overall, Thomas Chabot, who was originally drafted 18th. So he and Kyle Connor move up nicely. Aho moves up, Rantanen moves up, and Kaprizov rockets up to number 2. Thomas Chabot is a minute-munching defenseman. Absolutely fantastic, both ends of the ice. Underrated because he plays for the Ottawa Senators, but he is a very good defenseman. Very, very bright future for Chabot. At 9th, San Jose. Now, they originally drafted Timo Meier. Matthew Barzal, who was number 16 in the draft class originally. Just had to pause and double check the spelling. I was pretty sure Matthew Barzal has one T in his first name, but I wanted to double check. Much like Mikko Rantanen has the double K, you got to make sure it's not 1K. But anyways, yeah, Matthew Barzal I have going to San Jose. I know that there may be some who say, hey, but we have Meier. Barzal is an excellent forward who also, while I talked about Aho, his points being limited in Carolina, I think, compared to where it might be with other teams, Barzal's point totals are definitely limited playing with the New York Islanders. That style of play that they have, and it's a very good style of play, and it may lead to Barzal having greater success down the road, but it definitely has chopped some of his point totals down. So I have Barzal going at 9th. I'm very sorry by anyone I may have offended by putting him 9th. Let's see. 10th to Colorado. Instead of Mikko Rantanen, you guys get Zach Werenski. That's not bad. Zach Werenski's a really good defenseman. Minute muncher too, much like Chabot. So in the first 10, only the 2 defensemen. And not Noah Hannafin. Noah Hannafin doesn't end up being in the top 10, which shows how strong this draft is. This draft is stacked. I really think, and I did the 2003 redraft. The 2003 redraft will post while I'm on vacation. But this draft, I think, is just as stacked as 2003. I really think this one's going to be looked upon years down the road as one of the all-time greats. Next on the board, Florida takes Roope Hintz. Roope Hintz was originally taken 49th overall by Dallas. Excellent pick by Dallas. Hintz is absolutely a very solid forward who I think there's more defensive game there than what we've seen so far. I'm really happy he's in Dallas. Hopefully Dallas can figure out a way to keep him, Robertson, just that core together. Because it feels like there might be a problem when it comes to the production you're getting from Sagan and Ben. But if they can figure out a way to work around that or resolve that, Dallas could be dangerous. But Hintz to Florida, that would be, that would be one that I think Florida would be quite happy with. So Dallas. I'm going to have Dallas, in fact. See, and then I had to go back and look because Krause got drafted 11th. I was like, but that's not Arizona. But right, Florida drafted him and then traded him. All right, next on the board. And it has to be for what they've done the whole way through here, too. Not just recency kind of stuff. So, with that in mind, one of the more underrated defensemen, I think, now. Maybe he was overrated and overhyped in this draft year, but Noah Hannafin is still an excellent defenseman. Playing for the Calgary Flames, we'll see how long he plays in Calgary, because apparently everybody wants out of Calgary, right? So, it's obviously not, but that's what we're going with right now. Nobody wants to play in Columbus. Oh, wait, guys are playing in Columbus. Oh, now nobody wants to play in Calgary. Cool, all right, fine. So, yeah, Hannafin to Dallas, I'd be fine with that. Noah Hannafin I would be quite happy with in Dallas. I'm going to have Boston take a defenseman as well. Ivan Provorov. So Provorov goes to Boston. Boston has 3 picks in a row. We all remember this, right? DeBrusk, Sporil, Senyshyn. Probably shouldn't have picked those 3 players in that order. DeBrusk's been fine. But does DeBrusk qualify for this? So Boston's next pick would be one that drops from 9 in Timo Meier. So Timo Meier goes there, and then, man, for two-way game. You know what? For two-way game, Anthony Cirelli. Originally taken 72nd overall. So Boston would have come out of the draft with Provorov, Timo Meier, and Anthony Cirelli. Not bad. That's a center, too. Boston needs centers right now. So just thrown out there. None of the three guys they took in these spots were centers because at the time, they didn't need a center. This is why you draft the best player available. This is a good example of why. You never know where things are going to be 5-6 years down the road. Next on the board for the Islanders. Now, this is hoping that Troy Terry continues what he did this past season. Troy Terry was excellent. So I'll have Terry move up from 148th to that pick for the New York Islanders. For the next pick, to the Winnipeg Jets. I'm wondering, like, at what point should I have Besser on the board? And I don't know that I can justify Besser over a couple of guys on this one. Should I draft a goaltender? Right? Should I draft a goaltender? Yeah. It's tough because Mackenzie Blackwood was drafted that year, but Blackwood's coming off of what was a really down year, and obviously there were various circumstances that led to that, but would he get drafted here, or would it be from 166th up until this point in the draft? This one may age really badly. But he had 35 goals this past season. He's a really hard worker. Even when Andrew Mangiapane isn't scoring, his hard work is absolutely almost without equal. So Mangiapane, to me, ends up going to Winnipeg at this stage at 17 instead of Kyle Connor. So that's still good, right? Connor ends up going to New Jersey, but you get Andrew Mangiapane. Again, showing how stacked this draft class is. Next on the board. Yeah, to Ottawa. People keep talking about Brock Besser and he gets hurt a lot or he's lazy and he's not motivated. He's still a guy who can score you 25, 30 goals every year. Yes, health concerns are there, but he's still a guy who can score 25, 30 goals a year. So I'm going to have him go at 18th to the Ottawa Senators. And again, here's a guy with 23 goals this past season, and he's 18th in the draft class. So that says something right there. Detroit drafting next. Joel Eriksson. Now I'm looking at the board. Give me a second. All right, I have to fix that. Joel Eriksson would not drop below Troy Terry, Andrew Mangiapane, and Brock Besser. So I've moved Eriksson up to 16. You might be able to make the argument for him ahead of Cirelli, but again, the two-way game for Cirelli, the 2 cup rings, I'm going to put Cirelli at that point. So that moves Besser down to 19th. He ends up going to Detroit instead of Vancouver, but there you go. Now we're up to number 20. And again, this one's tough. Moving up from 53, defenseman. I've mentioned how stacked this draft is, right? Minnesota takes Rasmus Andersson. So that's 2 Flames defensemen in the top 20. So it's not bad. This is the 2015 draft, so that's only 7 years ago. So these guys are in their prime. So pretty good work by the Flames to have 2 of the top defensemen from this draft class, which again is stacked on their team. Number 21. Connor Garland. I'll have Garland go here. And then at 22... So originally they drafted Ilya Samsonov. This time out, I have the Capitals drafting Mackenzie Blackwood. I think Blackwood would go there. Now again, Blackwood had a rough year this past year, but the the potential's still there, and I still like the goaltender. So I'll go ahead and put him there. Vancouver goes with a blue liner. They had Eric Chernak, who, of course, was drafted 43rd overall by the LA Kings and then was traded to Tampa Bay in a deal that I think Tampa Bay fans were happy with. So, yeah, Chernak ends up moving up into the first round. The Philadelphia. How about a good stay-at-home defenseman? Brandon Carlo's underrated. He is one of the more underrated players. Yesterday, there was a poll that was up, who's the most underrated player in the NHL all time. And, of course, the right answer is Dale Hawerchuk. But if you're looking at blue liners right now, Brandon Carlo. Carlo is a very good defensive defenseman. And so, yeah, I would have him go here. Ahead of some who might be bigger names, might be, better known. The Winnipeg Jets. Taking one of my favorite members of the Coyotes, Lawson Crouse. Crouse is a big boy, and if he didn't play in Arizona, he'd get a lot more recognition. Crouse is the kind of guy that he plays the kind of hockey that would definitely get a team that struggles in the playoffs over the hump, I do believe. We don't know for sure because the Coyotes don't really play playoff games. And so for Crouse, whose offense can be a little unreliable, he's just so big. And again, it's that work ethic is fantastic with him. Next spot. I'll have Montreal take Vince Dunn. Vince Dunn, of course, now is in Seattle. I like Dunn's game. I think he's played well for Seattle, too. I do think he's got a lot of potential there. Anaheim. I'll have him take Pavel Zacha. Pavel Zacha, the tools are there. I think he'd still garner some interest. For the New York Islanders, I'll have them take Jack Roslovic. Jack Roslovic was originally taken 25th in the draft, so this moves him down a bit. Of course, for Zacha, he was taken 6th in the draft originally. Now we're down to, there's very few spots, and I've still got a lot of names. So I've still got Gavrikov, Matt Roy, Samsonov, Gurianov, Joseph, this is Matthew Joseph, Shillington, Dylan Strome, Konechny, Beauvillier, and DeBrusk, and I got 2 spots left. I could go into a second round with this draft and still have some pretty good names. This is an excellent draft. So, out of all those players, I'd have Dylan Strome. Center, he had a good year this past year. I know there'll be complaints about, his production and away from certain players and all that, but I think Dylan Strome still has the tools that would put him into that first round. And last but not least, you know what? Moving up from 194th overall, Matt Roy. Really good defenseman. I think he's got a really strong, solid future, and is, again, an underrated defenseman. There are a few underrated players on this board. I would say Carlo, Crouse, and Roy, to me, would be 3 underrated guys. But there you go. Again, this draft is absolutely stacked. You can make an argument for DeBrusk, Beauvillier, Konechny, Joseph, Gurianov, Shillington, Gavrikov. You could put Gavrikov in there ahead of Waugh, whatever you'd like. Again, I do these for fun. I do enjoy doing the redrafts, and I am kind of glad I brought this back this summer. The view counts tell me you guys are glad I brought this back this summer, thus there will be more. So as I said, I've recorded one for 2003. I also recorded one for 1991. So yeah, those are coming up this week. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.